Live from Accra, this is GHOne News Tonight. In coming up shortly. NDC and MPP fight over parliamentary seats as Weija-Gbawe constituency supporters of the opposition party burn lorry tires at EC office in demand for recollation of parliamentary election results.
This morning that we came here, and it's like 3 o'clock now, we've not seen the EC woman here.
We are also calling on the NDC leadership to rein in on their supporters. We are very certain that our parliamentary candidates in the above-mentioned constituencies won the elections.
President-elect John Dramani Mahama appeals to Guineans to bear with the new government as some decisions will be harsh due to the current state of the economy.
Briefing I have, the economy is still very sick, and there are many areas that we need to work on.
Also ahead, Western Regional Minister says persons who vandalized the controversial Akufo-Addo statue will be dealt with.
If somebody has touched it, we'll look for the person. We'll definitely catch up with the person. We'll look and we'll investigate and catch up with the person.
And in business, President-elect John Dramani Mahama hints at a renegotiation of terms and the current IMF deal. So many more coming up shortly in the 60 minutes broadcast. My name is Emmanuel. Agyabeng. Stay with us shortly. You're welcome to this broadcast. We begin this coverage with insights. Supporters of the parliamentary candidate of the NDC for the Weija-Gbawe constituency, Felix Odate Lamte, are insisting the Electoral Commission's recollate the results of the parliamentary elections for that area. According to them, their candidate is the rightful winner of the December 7 parliamentary elections in the Weija-Gbawe constituency, but that the EC illegally declared in favor of the MPP's candidate, Jerry Ahmed. The angry supporters who stormed the Greater Accra regional office of the EC burnt tires demanding to see the returning officer for the constituency who they accuse of playing games with them. Calvin Powell was there and has more.
They are trying to pull down the entrance of the EC. As you can see in your shot, there is an easy count right here happening. At the far end, they set car tires ablaze, causing confusion. The crowd is being charged. They want to see their candidate declared as the winner of the December 7 elections. They are right here from Weija-Gbawe. There is a fire tender here from the Ghana National Fire Service that is attempting to douse the blaze that is raging right here. The supporters have chased the fire tender away. It's getting so complicated here. The youth are not backing down. They don't want to back down. They block the road from the cathedral towards the parliamentary area. They say unless the EC declare their parliamentary candidate the winner, they will never back down on their protestation.
We have evidence, but the EC is delaying yes.
It's not.
So we are waiting for the EC.
It's not the one.
We've been here almost 4 days. We've not tried from here, and we are here.
And they even call the wrong going to enforce the law. We are going to make sure that we put the law before them for it to take place. If you are the EC official and we don't, let me say, we are ignorant about what we are doing, and you are the EC official, you have to educate us. You should have been here so that you educate us, but you are not here. That means you know what you are doing. Honorable Felix Odate Lamte, MP elect.
correct. Ono na winning.
Electoral board for Weija-Gbawe. Even the person, the electoral board that declared the MPP guy as a winner is a retired electoral board member. He is not qualified to declare someone as a winner. Yes, that's protest number 1. And protest number 2, 2020 pin sheet were used to declare the MPP parliamentary candidate as a winner. This is the evidence that I'm having here. The camera can capture it. 2020, they used to declare a PC as a winner. How possible can it be?
NDC won parliamentary and presidential, but they declared Jerry Ahmed as the parliamentary candidate for Weija-Gbawe.
A lot of thoughts, a lot of comments and concerns to be shared by the supporters of Felix Odaate-Lamptey against the PC for the MPP side, that is Jerry Ahmed. But Calvin was on the ground and he is with me in studio now. Calvin, this morning around the EC area was relatively calm. How did we get to tires burning up?
All right, so according to the supporters, they were told that today at 10 a.m. the EC will come to the regional office, collect the result, and redeclare the winner for the parliamentary elections. So they've waited. Some of them told me they've gotten there as early as 5 a.m. And up until 3 p.m. when we got there, the EC was nowhere to be found. According to them, the executives placed call to her. She wasn't responding to the call. So that infuriated them, that we had a decision. We've agreed that you come at 10 a.m. to resolve this situation that is on our hands. But it's 3 p.m. you are not picking your calls and all that. So according to them, they want to prove to the EC that they are the winners of the parliamentary election. That's why the Weija-Gbawe is concerned. So they want to do something to prove their anger for the deceit that the electoral officer has bestowed on them. That was why they engaged in blocking the road and also burning car tires in front of the regional EC office.
Oh, I must commend you in the videos. You were trying to help calm the situation your own way by telling them what they were doing was quite lawless. But you had the opportunity to speak to the NDC parliamentary candidate, Felix Odaate-Lamptey. What did he say? Was he able to change the situation for his supporters to go home?
Well, he actually came out to speak to them. That the regional director of Ghana Police Service spoke to him that he had a conference with the EC, and according to the EC, they should go and come back on Wednesday to resolve the issue. So they should go home. But some of them were still not ready to leave the place. They said they will sleep there. Some came with their mattresses and said they will sleep there until Wednesday. When the results are declared, then they can find their way home. But he also mentioned that on Wednesday 11th, that's after the elections from 7th, they realized that the returning officer and the deputy were found in wee hours at the office trying to add up some figures. So they confronted them, and the returning officer admitted to it that, well, they are collating results. And they were surprised as to why the returning officer and the deputy alone were left in their office during such an hour collating results without the presence of either the NPP or the NDC party executives or representatives. So that action alone renders the integrity of the election null and void. So they are demanding that there should be a fresh election.
Fresh election. Yeah. But before we get to the details of that, we have the bite from the earlier conversation. So let's just quickly look at that shortly.
You saw the pink sheet coming from the collation center. We are telling you the people are filling what? The collation forms, and you are saying you've seen it. We've not seen it. Until Thursday morning, we've not seen it. Our agents didn't bring us any what? Collation forms from the collation center. Because they've not filled it. Because it was being filled on what? Wednesday, Thursday. And that is what my election director have told you. I walked out at a point because there are issues with some of the pink sheets. We have pink sheets that has no what? Designation. You don't have any polling station assigned to it. You don't know the presiding officer that signed that pink sheet. No name of any presiding officer. And at the collation, we are supposed to what? Agree on all these things before what? Collation starts. And Madam Abigail knowing very well what he has connived with the MPP and they are about to do, walked out of the collation room and told us the NDCs that if we agreed on something, we should come back. We didn't agree on anything, and that is why we are telling you that the basis for even the declaration is flawed.
For that, Felix Odati-Lamte, the Weija-Gbawe constituency parliamentary candidate for the opposition NDC, now in government, that is the NDC. But you were mentioned earlier, Calvin, that they were asking for a fresh election. Did any EC official come out to address the people who were massed up at the office?
Unfortunately, none of the officials from the EC came to speak to either the NDC executives or the media. It was only the police that had a call from them that they should go and come on Wednesday. So for them, they've not actually declared their position as to whether the call for re-election to be conducted in the Gbawe constituency is something that they will go by, or they will still go ahead and use the contested figures that the NDC says are flawed. Some have also mentioned that the pink sheets that they used to declare the elections were from 2020. Yeah, so they have not stated any position.
Well, we are waiting for the ECs on this particular matter. We are waiting to see what they would say. Their data, their collated sheets, their pink sheets to bring a resolution to this particular impasse at the Weija-Gbawe constituency. But Calvin, thank you so much for the latest on this particular matter. Now, the NDC in the Savelugu constituency are also demanding investigations into the 2024 parliamentary election results in that area. The party says it will head to court if the EC fails to heed to their demand. Spokesperson of the NDC in the Savelugu constituency, Agyabeng, who addressed the media on Monday, alleged that several irregularities marred the elections on December 7.
In the Savelugu constituency, our parliamentary elections was not free, neither was it transparent, neither was it comfortable. We had about 47 people who voted. 47 people who voted for parliamentary without having subjected themselves to any level or levels of verification, whether electronic or manual, nothing of sort. Our understanding is that 2 ballot papers were being issued to voters to go and cast their votes. And so when you look at the pink sheet for GHOne, you will realize on the face of the pink sheet that 47 people voted without being verified, biometric or manual. And that particular result went into the declaration of the MPP candidate, declaring her as the winner of the elections. Ballots issued were less than those who were verified. And even in the parliamentary box, the parliamentary ballot box, you could see ballot cast were less than verified. By this, we are simply inviting the EC to, as a matter of urgency, the fact that the EC is a constitutional established body does not warrant and grant them the fullest opportunity to do whatever they want. They must as well take the pen and the time, including the scarce resources, subject each and every pink sheet of the 141 pink sheets and verify for themselves what we have seen. After they have done that fully and accomplished that particular needful, they must also ensure that there is a rerun of parliamentary elections in the Savelugu constituency. EC must organize a rerun.
Let's still stay with matters concerning the NDC and the disputes concerning the parliamentary election results of 2022. Luckily, we have Mustafa Gbande, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, and he joins us now for a conversation on this. Many thanks for your time this evening, sir. Let me begin off on this particular matter on the contest when it comes to the disputed electoral results. We are seeing a number of NDC supporters mass up at collation centers, and what we are seeing here in Accra is the burning of tires. How is the party responding to these incidents of violence?
Well, I think that I beg to differ with your introduction to the issues involved. People who are simply protesting for a restoration and giving fidelity to their rights of which they have voted, I do not think that is violence. And so, to be able to define violence properly, we should rather be asking questions whether they were legitimate concerns that citizens can raise, whether or not the Electoral Commission did its works well. You heard the gentleman. He gave you antecedents. He gave you numerical discrepancies as far as the voting is concerned, to the extent that you have people who have been verified not amounting to the number of ballot papers issued. Fundamental legitimate issues, concerns. We should be asking the Electoral Commission or asking ourselves whether the Electoral Commission did indeed a clean job for the people of Ghana. Whether the Commission exhibited some level of competence, some level of administrative competence for the people of Ghana. That is what we should be asking. As we speak today, just this evening, Takwa and Soyem, they found abandoned DVD machines in the bush. Meanwhile, we have had records of issues of missing DVDs. And so if people are raising these concerns and massing up at the commission, we should listen to their issues and not describe them as violence. Now, the issue is whether or not people have the right to raise. Yes, they have the right to raise. Does that equate to EC's criminal syndicate of trying to recollect declared results? It's not a thing. Happened in Tesano last week. The EC told all of us that there are a number of constituencies where results have not yet been declared, and that the grounds on which they will declare such results have been characterized by a lot of agitation and insecurity. So therefore, they needed police protection to have a safe place where they could work on those results and have them declared. Only for the police to send the location to Tetano and for the EC to go in bed with leadership of the MPP to go recollating already declared results. They are not the same. And so the NDC is following this development keenly. But we have decided that there will not be any activity called recollation as far as this election is concerned. You have lost, you have lost. Whoever have lost and doesn't understand, you go to court. Let the court decide. It is not in the mouth of the Electoral Commission to decide otherwise. In the issue of Savelugu, as my colleagues have raised, that you may have a case, but we would head to court if we don't agree. It is not for recollation to be done. And so these are the strength of the issues by law that we all know. If an election is declared, that election is declared. If you have concerns and legitimate issues on the declaration, you go to court. So, for example, Savelugu, if we put our evidence together and we seem to have the strength of the facts, we will go to court. It is not for the EC to give room for what we call recollation and redeclaration of already declared results.
Mustafa, quite clear is our electoral laws, and quite clear is what protest and what seems to be right is done. All I'm asking you right now is that, given the opportunity, the burning of tires does not constitute anywhere in our electoral laws as a means to protest electoral results. The process is clear, as you rightly mentioned it. Would you take this opportunity to tell your supporters to stay put and not cause any harm?
Well, we should be calling on the Electoral Commission to resign. The commissioner and all other politicians around the commission should be resigning. I mean, it's too painful when a commission fails to deliver what is transparent, what is credible, and what is trusted election. It is too dangerous and too fatal to security situations that we should still tolerate a commission that has been able to deliver a clean election for the people of Ghana. That is a root cause of the various agitations you are seeing. And you cannot stop people who are right. You can only rebuke people who are wrong. And if there's anybody who is wrong in this matter, it is Jean Mensa and her political members who are hiding within the commission. We should all be asking them to resign. That, look, you have done a shameful job, a very poor job, unintellectual, unintelligent, administrative errors, operational challenges. You have led this country to chaos. But for the tolerance between MPP and DC, we would be at war because of incompetence of the Electoral Commission. They should resign. Jean Mensa should resign. By tomorrow morning, she should be resigning. Nobody will tolerate a continuous stay at the commission. as far as the interest of Ghana is concerned. As for the young men who are protesting, they have the right to do so. But again, whosoever does not agree should head to court. So we'll admonish them to stay put whilst we put evidence together. Wherever there are issues, we'll go to court. The same way, we will not, and read my lips, there will not be any place. They can take the collation to Ghana Armed Forces. We will stop them. There will not be any place that the police will offer protection for what they call recollation and redeclaration to take place. I can assure you that it won't happen in this country from today. Then people have lost. They should regroup and come back strongly in 2028. As for this election, they have lost and lost abysmally as a result of their corrupt behaviors, as a result of the fact that they have hurt the people of Ghana and they have been rejected. President Akufo-Addo have led the most scandalous governance in this country, and the people of Ghana rejected him. They will not come through the window. They've been thrown out of the door.
Thank you so much for your time, although you failed to answer my question, but I'm grateful for your time on this particular matter. Meanwhile, the NPP is demanding the collation of some contested parliamentary results by the Electoral Commission. This comes as the party claims victory in 13 constituencies whose collation had been under contest. Addressing the media, the party maintains that despite calls by the opposition, National Democratic Congress, for aggrieved parties to go to court, the Electoral Commission remains the only entity to direct a party to seek redress from the courts.
3 constituencies, Akwetia, Suhum, and Fantiakwa North, have already been declared in favor of the NPP, which suffered a heavy defeat in the December 7th polls. The party now wants the Electoral Commission to continue what they say is the proper collation process for 10 other constituencies, which they say the NPP won.
It is therefore our expectation that the EC would immediately resume the collation exercise. We are also calling on the NDC leadership to rein in on their supporters. We are very certain that our parliamentary candidates in the above mentioned constituencies won the elections based on verifiable data from the pink sheets, as we have demonstrated.
The EC last Friday insisted that the Domkwabenya, Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Ablekuma North constituencies were illegally declared.
It is imperative to note that the recollation in the following constituencies, namely Domkwabenya, Okaikwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies, did not follow lay-down processes as enshrined in CI 127.
According to the New Patriotic Party, the collation in the said constituencies, including Ahafo Ano North, Ahafo Ano Southeast, Awen, Techiman South, Obuasi East, and Nsawam Aduejiri, had been riddled with threats against electoral officers, security personnel, and agents, with reports of vandalism on ballot boxes, ballot papers, and pink sheets. Ifutu MP Alexander Afenyomarkin insists the Electoral Commission should go ahead with its intention to carefully collate all these contested areas.
Again, we are encouraging the Electoral Commission that pursuant to their own statement they issued and their press conference on the evening of Friday to proceed to collect and declare these results.
The party awaits the Electoral Commission's new outline for collating these areas, urging the National Election Security Task Force to aid with ample security to ensure a smooth process.
A break away from disputes to some interesting thoughts. Western Regional Minister Kobana Tredako has expressed shock at the outcome of the just ended parliamentary and presidential elections, wondering whether the NDC deployed black magic. He spoke to Ibrahim Al-Hassan.
All the results throughout the country was shocking. So for me, we'll regroup and come back again. I mean, it's no news. Trump left government and came back. President Mahama has left government and is coming back. So MPP, we have left. We'll come back.
With Baumia or somebody else?
Oh, as for the choice, like the party, we always have to deal with the process. And we'll get through the process and come back stronger.
Now let's talk about Western Region. Yeah. What went wrong? You are a regional minister. Yes. What went wrong?
I strongly believe that, like I said, I don't think that anything extraordinary Our people just didn't go and vote. I've looked at the numbers. Our people just didn't go and vote. Yeah, so we have to go back and see what really had happened. I won't sit here and say that this and this and this and that, because if you look at the investment that we've been able to do as a government in Western, it's very huge. It's very, very huge. And the people of Western region know this. So we'll go back and know whether people are looking at something else than investment, or is some juju that also happened that has changed minds or something. I mean, we need to understand.
News tonight here on GHOne TV. We'll be back shortly with more after this break. Yeah, indeed, your election have welcome back from the break. Earlier, we brought you stories concerning the Weija-Gbawe constituency where there is some contest and dispute over the declared results in that particular area. The NDC is not happy. The supporters are calling for a re-election in the area as they are alleging that 2020 pink sheets were used in collating the results declared in favor of Jerry Ahmed, the MPP parliamentary candidate in the constituency. We engaged a Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbande, on the matter, where he has strongly supported the NDC in the area and he has called for the resignation, even in the next 24 hours, of the EC chairperson, Madam Jean Adukwe-Mensah. But an interesting thought is where the Western Regional Minister, Kwabena Ochedaku-Mensah, was really surprised at how the NPP managed to lose these elections. He called the NDC's win as by using black magic. But he has not only been talking about the elections, he has strongly condemned the vandalization of the statue that was erected in honor of President Akufo-Addo at Takoradi. And this particular statue has recently been damaged with its left leg reportedly punctured by unidentified individuals. He was speaking to our parliamentary correspondent, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, where he justified the decision to honor the president with a statue and issued a stern warning to the perpetrators, vowing that they will be apprehended and they will face the full force of the law. Let's listen to him now.
These people were saying they were going to vandalize it. They kept saying it. So if somebody has touched it, we'll look for the person. We'll definitely catch up with the person. We'll look and we'll investigate and catch up with the person. But it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary waste of his time. He should use that time to create wealth for himself instead of going to vandalize something to say thank you to somebody. Even teachers, when they teach us well, we say thank you to them. Is it because they've left the school? No. Whilst we are in school with them, we say thank you to them and give them certificate and even sometimes money gifts to teachers. Doesn't mean that those teachers should go on retirement before we say thank you. Not at all. So I believe that yes, some of them might have some sentiment about it, but for me, it's not an issue.
All right, so the justification for the president's statue in Takoradi, but let's listen to our man on the ground on concerns that the Western Regional Minister Kwabena Ochedaku mentioned about people willing and wishing to even damage this particular statue. We have been joined via Zoom by our Western Regional correspondent Kwabena Amwa shortly on this particular matter. Kwabena, the Western Regional Minister is alleging that people had already planned to vandalize the statue, and so what is happening now is based on what some people have already planned to do. But engaging people there, what is the reaction to this particular damage being done to the leg of the statue?
I think some people are quite indifferent about the whole situation that has happened in the Western region. Earlier today, we saw footage and we went to the site and saw that some part of the statue has been vandalized by some unknown persons. Earlier, when the statue was erected, the commentary has been that they are going to bring it down. We saw notable figures in the NDC in the Western region making it verbal that they were going to ensure that this particular statue is moved to the hometown of the president. However, it hasn't been, didn't touch it yet until this morning we saw that situation. The commentary all in town has been that people are not happy with this particular structure because on that particular stretch of road that this a statue is erected is actually not completed. And so, as the minister had said that had indicated that it was in honor of the president's works in the Western region, people believe that then it should have waited until the road is actually completed before this structure, this statue is erected. And so they believe that he may have jumped the gun in honoring of the president. And also the backlash also came through in the point that people thought that it was the president himself who had erected this structure at here at the However, it wasn't so. The clarity came when the paramount chief of Upper District, Nana Himadi, she came out to clarify that some chiefs from the Western Regional House of Chiefs committed funds about 30,000 Ghana cedis to erect this structure. They were honoring for the president for his works in the region. However, on the contrary, the chief for Lower District also in some later commentary also noted that he was actually not disappointed about the NPP's tenure in government, that he had not done anything pivotal in the region, and so the NPP should be voted out. So it was sort of a contrary statement for both chiefs from the similar enclaves. And also some also are attributing the loss of
We lost Kwabena Amoah there on that particular subject. We'll revisit the conversation as and when we have him again. But Ghana's President-elect GHOne Mahama has warned that some decisions in his incoming administration may be harsh, but necessary for the country's progress. Speaking during a courtesy call on him by members of some minority political parties over his electoral victory, GHOne Mahama urged Ghanaians to prepare themselves for the tough measures that may be put in place to address the country's challenges and ensure long-term stability. He explained that the nation is at crossroads and certain decisions by his government may cause short-term discomfort but are critical for securing a better future for all Ghanaians.
About the third quarter growth. From the little briefing I have, the economy is still very sick, and there are many areas that we need to work on as quickly as possible, especially the energy sector. The energy sector can derail everything that we've done with regards to the debt exchange and with regards to the IMF program, because the debts continue to pile up there. ECG's governance is in a very bad way, and so they are making commercial and technical losses of more than 32%. There's no utility company that can survive with 32% commercial and technical losses and still continue to be a viable utility. And so as quickly as possible we need to do reforms, in the whole electricity value chain, in order that we have better efficiency and performance if we are to have sustainable power going forward. The priority is to stabilize the economy, reduce waste, rationalize taxes, because Ghana is increasingly becoming a high cost point of doing business. If we are to remain competitive, we must rationalize the taxes, make them more transparent, so that foreign investors feel attracted to come to our country, to come and set up businesses and industries, so that we can get employment for our young people. There is a limit to how much government can employ. We're a country of more than 30 million people. The number of people on government's payroll is less than 1 million.
The minority in Parliament has vowed to resist any attempt to commit the incoming Mahama administration to any expenditure obligations. According to the NDC MPs, the only items on the order paper they will offer their support to are the approval of the expenditure in advance of appropriation, as well as a few bills at advanced stages passage. Majority Leader Alexander Kwamena Afenyomaken, during the presentation of the business statement on the floor of the House, enumerated a number of items to consider before the House rises, including tax waivers, loan agreements for purchase of 2 ships for the Ghana Navy, among other fresh bills.
I propose the House considers the following items as priority business. 1. Expenditure in advance of appropriation bill 2024. 2. Environmental Protection Bill 2024. The consideration of the process of this bill has been taken already. It just left with the third reading only. 3. Boundary Commission Bill 2024. This is a very urgent bill due to the state of insecurity in the world, particularly our sub-region, West Africa. The Social Protection Bill 2023 as number 4, Parliament Transition Bill 2023, the Parliamentary Service Bill 2024, and a few Public Accounts Committee reports, which, if not taken, will lapse and have to be referred to a new committee in the 9th Parliament. And I believe,
Mr. Speaker, the Business Committee met and agreed on the business for the week. Same has been captured by a 9-page document signed by my very self and attached to this report. Mr. Speaker, per what we have, we expect to not only end on Friday, but Mr. Speaker, if you would permit, we may have to add Saturday to the sitting so that we could adjourn for the Christmas and then come back.
It would be wrong for an outgoing government to commit an incoming government to millions of US dollars, which will be a fiscal strain on the next budget. Mr. Speaker, I said this on the backdrop that before us, they are proposing to buy ships worth 140 million euros at this time. Mr. Speaker, it is very wrong for a government that is leaving office in 3 weeks, to commit 140 million euros. Mr. Speaker, if it is extremely important for the state, allow the new government to commit them. Right, Honorable Speaker, the tax exemptions before us, if approved, will have a fiscal burden in the next budget. So you are saying that the next government should carry your burden of $350 million? Mr. Speaker, no way.
To take a commercial loan and for Ghana and the IMF to agree only simply means that there must be special reasons why the IMF will agree for Ghana to take a commercial loan. And he knows that it was the IMF itself that had to agree to open up the space for Ghana to be able to take this, because Ghana does not have aircraft and ship. Doesn't have aircraft and ship for army.
I propose
We turn our focus to some business news now. Ghana's President-elect John Dramani Mahama has affirmed sustenance of the country's ongoing International Monetary Fund program, describing it as critical to stabilizing the nation's economy. Speaking in an exclusive interview with VOA on Saturday, December 14, John Dramani Mahama reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the IMF-backed reforms initiated under outgoing President Nana Akufo-Addo, while signaling possible adjustments to better align the program with Ghana's long-term development goals.
We already have requested some discussion with the IMF because we were not part of the negotiation of this program. And so we need to look at how we can all be on the same wavelength in terms of implementing the program. We're not going to jettison the program. I want to make that clear. We're not jettisoning the program. But within the program, I'm sure that there can be some leverage for tweaking it. And so if we're able to reach that agreement, then we'll continue the program till it ends. What it means is that the budgets must align with the IMF program. So there's not much leverage in there for making the kind of radical reforms that you might immediately need to make. But we would accept the reforms that are being made under the IMF and deepen them when we have our own program after the current extended credit facility runs out. So far, so good. Bringing down inflation is number one priority. Stabilizing the currency is number two. Bringing the deficit down, cutting expenditure, increasing revenues. I mean, those are the things that we need to be looking at.
Time to do some sports news. As general manager of the Ghana FA Cup champions Swatraman FC, his resignation comes amid the club's inconsistent performance this season, with Swatraman currently sitting 11th on the Ghana Premier League table. We are getting reports of some 2 other coaches who are vacating their positions after a poor run. But that's it for the bulletin this evening. My name is Emmanuel. Agyabeng. On behalf of the entire production team, thank you for your company and have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Less than 13 hours, Ghana stands on the edge of a defining moment.
Hello there, thank you so much for staying here on your election hub.
Natalie says she wants to talk about it. Where are you? Where are you now?
It is the will of the people as expressed at the polls.
I have just called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to congratulate him as President-elect of the Republic of Ghana.